So what's going on, guys? It's your boys from the sidelines, and we're back here to recap the conference championship week. One really good game, the other was an unfortunate one, and go about our Super Bowl predictions. And we got some NBA stuff I'm sure you guys have heard of to talk about at the end of this. But we'll jump straight in it, recapping the Bengals Chiefs. Honestly, at least from what I saw, biggest thing was Burrow taking the really bad sacks. Yeah, I think at one point he did have more or even with completions and sacks in the first quarter, which not gonna win if you're getting sacked 4 times in a row right off the bat. Just 3 or 4 times in a row he got sacked.
Yeah. Joe Burrow in general did not have a great game. He did throw for 270, but he did throw 2 interceptions.
And one of them was really bad.
Yeah.
Bengals defense did all they needed to do, though, honestly. It was just that one mistake at the end that we were just talking about a second ago. The late hit out of bounds. And because if you don't give that late hit up, that's going to be like a 55, 60-yard field goal attempt. I think 60, actually, so.
Yeah, it changes the whole game, potentially.
Yeah, you're definitely going into overtime. At least 99% chance you're going into overtime.
Yeah, it was all in the script though for him to hit Patrick Mahomes out of bounds anyway.
We're gonna figure out the script because we've been. Granted, we both had our other Super Bowl contender pick wrong, but both of us had the Eagles, and you've been saying it for a long time. I remember you texting me at the beginning of the season, way before we even talked about doing like a sports podcast or anything, that it was going to be the Eagles this year.
Yep, and I already have the script for that game too. I have the score perfectly. I think. We'll see.
What's the score pick for that game before we even start talking about it?
So for the Super Bowl, I was on social media the other day, and I saw on Twitter, someone said, I have the script for the Super Bowl, and it was dated this Sunday. And it said, Chiefs are going to lose to the Eagles by a final score of 37-34. So that's what I'm going to go with. 37-34 Eagles win.
This is probably going to be completely wrong, but I have reason to believe that the Eagles are going to blow out the Chiefs, and they're going to win 31-17.
31-17. I'm going 37-34. I'll go with that post. I know that means nothing necessarily. That could just be someone making up something on social media. But I do remember this was back in Super Bowl 50. When it was Broncos and Panthers, I saw a social media post that was like from a few days prior to the Super Bowl. And it was some Twitter account basically saying the NFL's rigged. Here's the final score of the football game, which I think he said was going to be 24-10, which is exactly what the score ended up being. And he also said Cam Newton's going to throw an interception and do nothing else in that game. And that's pretty well. He fumbled the ball too, but he did throw an interception, and that was all he did, like stat-wise, pretty much.
I guess we're going to find out here in a few days. And, that's really all we had to recap for the Bengals game. Offensive line didn't play great, especially in the first half. Kansas City managed to clutch up and keep the lead and keep the game tied up for that field goal with the humongous. That might be the worst late hit or just like worst penalty I've seen somebody commit that late in a game in that type of situation.
Well, there was years ago, it was Bengals versus Steelers playoff game, I remember, and it was Vontaze Burfict just laid out. Was it Antonio Brown? I think it was. He just destroyed Antonio Brown and like knocked him out cold on the field, and they ended up losing because of that play.
Yep, I did want to add too, since anybody that has watched a few of these or anybody that has been here for a little bit now, obviously I'm the Bengals fan, but I know a lot of people are talking about the way the game was reffed and everything. Doesn't matter at the end of the day. Still made a bunch of mistakes that you can't make, especially that late hit to put him in field goal range. But the reffing, I don't think was necessarily bad, but I don't think it was great either. There was a few terrible calls going both ways. Obviously, the biggest ones went in favor of the Chiefs, but there was a lot of stuff with the reffing. So anybody that's talking about that being the end-all conversation of the Bengals losing, that's just not true. But anyways, 49ers and Eagles. I mean, we all know what happened.
Yep.
Mr.
Tom
Goat
Brady
Purdy.
Jr.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we've both agreed that even though they probably wouldn't have won if he was healthy, I mean, probably would have seen it be maybe 14 or 17 or 21-31. I don't think either way it was going to make a difference because
No.
the Eagles just kind of did what they wanted offensively, even though Jalen Hurts, we just said, didn't put up a ton of yards. I mean, I actually had to listen to the game. I didn't get to physically watch it, but everything that I've heard and all the highlights that I've watched since just kind of looked like Eagles had their way in every single way offensively.
It does. I mean, like we saw before, they had, what, 4 rushing touchdowns that game? Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. They had 4 rushing TDs. Let up 31. The Niners let up 40 or 31 points, and the Niners arguably had the best defense in football, well, next to the Eagles. So people probably would have thought this was going to be a very defensive game, and it wasn't. Well, not for the Niners anyway. And because like we said before, if Brock Purdy didn't get hurt in that game, and he was there all 4 quarters, they still probably would have lost because it's not like he's not playing defense. At a certain point, the Niners have to just stop the Eagles on offense, and they weren't.
Yeah.
But like we also were talking about before, is they must have had a really good field position all game because they didn't really do. No one had a ridiculous game on the Eagles at all. So, like their leading rusher, like we said before, he didn't even have 50 yards rushing the ball, and their leading receiver only had 36 yards. So they must have had really good, like, field position all game. It's not like they were doing a lot offensively either.
Yeah, they did get good field position a handful of times off of kickoff or off punts, but also the fact that the thing I didn't like about this game is that San Francisco basically conceded in the second half. They just came out and only ran the ball. I don't even know if they threw more than 1 or 2 passes in the second half. And my take on it anyway is, you were down 21-7 coming out of halftime. Why not just say fuck it and put McCaffrey at quarterback or something? You tell him you're either going to run the ball or just throw that shit downfield. I wouldn't have just conceded and been like, we're going to run. I know either way it doesn't really make a difference, I don't think, but when they came out and only ran the ball, they pretty much just conceded that game away in the second half right off the bat.
Yeah. I mean, they got screwed because Josh Johnson, he got injured, if I'm not mistaken, as well in that game, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, he left for a little bit.
Yeah, and then Purdy came back in, I'm pretty sure, and that's when they just ran the ball.
Yeah, it's gonna not work because it's an easy catch on.
Either way, I mean, both of us obviously picked the Eagles. Nobody thought it was going to be a blowout like this, though. But
can't predict an injury. And Niners are going to be interesting next season more so because of, and I think we've talked about this in the past, of what are they going to do next season at the quarterback position, and I think they're going to run Trey Lance, kind of have to. But I think he'll be on a short leash.
Yeah, because I don't think they'll hesitate to let Brock Purdy.
No, they wouldn't. They would basically, if after like 3-4 games, Trey Lance is doing terrible, maybe even 5. Let's pretend they're like 1-4, and Trey Lance is doing terrible. They'd probably bench him and throw Brock Purdy in there.
I would honestly say after the season they had this year, if he's not better than like 3-2 or something, they'd probably give the starting job to whoever else, regardless if the roles are reversed or not.
Probably. They'd probably both be, because it's Purdy obviously has the hype around him for what he just did, but let's pretend Purdy does start next year, which I don't think will happen, but let's pretend he does. And even if he starts off bad, they'd bench Purdy and put Trey Lance in there. Either one, they'd do it, But they're going to start Trey Lance. They're not going to have a 3rd overall pick sit on the bench again.
Yeah, that would be just a complete wasted pick at that point. But I mean,
Right.
either
And
way,
they traded for it too, I'm pretty sure. So,
and if
they
Brock
traded
Purdy's
up to
not, and if Brock Purdy's not good enough to be a starter, I mean, or not that he's not good enough to be a starter, but if he's not good enough to have somebody give him a starting job anywhere else, then I mean, either way, you'd have 2 good quarterbacks if Lance is a good quarterback starting out.
Right. And I think because Jimmy, is officially a free agent. I'm pretty sure.
I think he's
I
going to
think I
end
saw
up
that.
somewhere else.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's on a football team technically right now.
But
Um, oh, and also in football news, obviously we completely forgot Tom Brady retiring.
yeah, I'll believe that at the start of next season. I think he
Yeah,
is officially retired, but I'm not fully just hyping it up like, oh, he's gone until he's not in a uniform next year.
he said he's not doing Fox this upcoming season. He said he's not doing it until 2024.
It means
So
he's
who
got
knows?
one more
Maybe he can
season
come
left.
back. Yeah, he can play another season.
But
You
uh,
know, be a Raider.
yeah, that's I've seen. I ended up looking into that a lot more because I know we talked about it too. And yeah, if he did come back, that's where it probably will be at.
Yeah, probably. Um,
But
actually, on a side note from his retirement, when I don't know if you watched his video, he did it at like some beach or whatever.
no, I didn't see the
Um,
actual video.
oh, he did it on some like beach, and someone went found the exact spot of where he was standing and collected the sand and threw it on some website. I don't know what website it was yet.
Oh, for sale. Yeah, never mind. I know.
For
Yeah,
sale for yeah for like $60,000 or something stupid like that.
yeah, I did see that. It ended up selling for like 90 something thousand.
Oh, that's what. Okay, yeah.
That's
I knew it
so
was like tens
absurd.
of thousands. Yeah.
But I guess on a other note, the big thing that we're here for this week, the motherfucking Super Bowl.
Right.
Obviously, if anybody's been watching or if you've already heard the first 5 or 10 minutes of this, obviously you know we both picked the Eagles. I think they're gonna get it done this year.
So do I.
Because Patrick Mahomes, I mean, apparently they said his leg's not any worse than it was, and I mean I'm not a doctor or anything, but I just don't believe that either. If he still had that high ankle sprain only a week old after last week, he did take some big hits, including the late hit out of bounds. So you're telling me that his legs just still completely fine and getting better? I mean, I feel like if anything, it's got to be about the same percent that he was playing at last week.
I mean, Jackson Mahomes is probably massaging it for him in the off time, but
With
I
coconut
think
oil.
probably. I think, yeah, Eagles are gonna win. And and I think I sent this to you like last week. It was 16-17. The Warriors won. Now stay in that same year, so now we're in 2017. 2017, the Astros won the World Series. The 17-18 football season, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Now here we are in this past year. So we have the last NBA season, the Warriors won. The Astros just won again. And now we have the Eagles in the Super Bowl. They're like all three of those teams are just following a pattern with each other. That's another reason I think the Eagles are going to win.
Yeah, if they do, I mean, it seems, I don't know, it seems weird, but the, I, I think they're going to do it, dude. Either way, I don't have too much question, honestly. I think there's a potential it's going to be a good game, no question. It's the Super Bowl, obviously, but I think the Eagles are going to, they have the way better defense than Cincinnati, and obviously a pretty much equivalent, if not better, offense, even though they're ranked higher up than Bengals offense. But I just don't see Kansas City pulling
Yeah,
it off, man.
I don't either. I think the Eagles are going to win. I think Jalen Hurts is going to win MVP of the game. I think he's going to win NFL MVP because of this as well. Um, it's weird because preseason I said Jalen Hurts I don't think is that great of a quarterback because I didn't see anything special in him, and obviously that's not right. And yeah, I don't know.
I mean, this is the
I,
season to prove everybody wrong, honestly. Nobody expected the Eagles to be this good this season.
no, I think a lot of people thought they'd be a playoff team though, like
Yeah.
10-7 or something. I mean, they made the playoffs last year,
Yeah, for
so
sure everybody expected a playoff team, but not a 14-3 going into the postseason. Like,
no,
clearly,
I don't
clear
think so.
cut, probably the best team in the NFL.
Because a lot of people preseason are probably saying Bills or Chiefs out of the AFC, which that did happen, and then out of the NFC, a lot of people are probably saying Buccaneers or um, maybe Packers. Nah, I don't know about the Packers actually, but Buccaneers probably. Rams again, maybe.
I know a lot of
The
people picked
Rams.
Dallas too this year because I
No,
mean
I
Dallas
haven't
was
picked
actually
Dallas.
good this year.
That's just like a risky pick at this point because they haven't made it. When's the last time they were in a Super Bowl was like in the '90s or something.
Yeah, they have a really bad track record, especially in the last 20 years.
Like 25 years, yeah.
But regardless, I mean, I do think both quarterbacks are going to have a good game. I think it's even though I picked the Eagles to win by a few scores, I think both quarterbacks have a big game. I think it's honestly up to whoever's defense plays the best.
It's definitely going to be a close game. I mean, every Super Bowl usually is for the most part, or at least it comes down to like the final quarter. Um, but yeah, I'm sticking to it, the 37-34 final score of the Eagles beating the Chiefs. And then, yeah, I mean, there's also that whole like you can see who's more excited running out onto the field pregame. So I'll try to look for that as well. Also, I'm looking on ESPN. This is the lowest tickets you can buy for the Super Bowl right now. Are $3,300.
That's a steal.
Oh wait, that's just 3,500.
Yeah, the only thing, man, I knew the Eagles had were they the best defense this year? I think. Or at least,
Yeah,
I guess it was 49ers, so the Eagles were either
there's them
first
and
or
the
second.
Niners. Yeah, there was between those two all season.
I mean, everything about this game makes for what should be a good game. Points per game's 29 and 28. Points alloled's 20 and 7. So, I mean, it's clearly going to be a good game. But Eagles, man, that's been the pick.
It has been, and I'm sticking with it. I've been saying it since like the beginning of November, late October, that they're gonna win. So
I do want to see Jalen Hurts get a Super Bowl, though, because, I mean, he's clearly proved everybody this year wrong. I didn't think he was going to be, like a great NFL quarterback or anything. So if he gets a Super Bowl, props to him for
yeah,
proving me and a lot of people wrong.
yeah.
And just because
I
I'm
thought the
tired of
same.
Kansas City.
Yeah, they're always there every year. It seems, even though last year they didn't even go, but it just seems like they're always there.
I don't want
But
that dynasty to happen.
all I'm gonna say, this is a completely off topic, but the Detroit Lions next season they're going 12-5.
That's not a bad pick, seeing as how they finished the season.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like into next season because there's obviously only one game left. Like, what's gonna happen? But yeah, I think 12-5 and maybe win their division.
I also truthfully think the Broncos are going to make a turnaround next year.
New head coach.
The same with, honestly, the Bears. I think
Trey.
the Bears might be decent next year.
I don't know about that. I think the Bears are still gonna be at bottom
I wouldn't put
five
money
or
on it,
10.
but I feel like they could have at least a okay season next year.
I think if any team were to bounce back for next season, it would definitely be like you said. The Broncos would be a bounce back team. Um, I don't know. Actually, I really don't know who would have a bounce back season. Maybe the Cardinals, Rams.
Yeah, the Cardinals
about
were
it.
way underperforming this year.
Yeah, they definitely were. I mean, they also had injury problems, but still.
Yeah, well, it'll be an interesting way to go into next year, especially seeing how the draft plays out and how the Super Bowl and everything goes.
Yeah.
And do you have anything else for NFL?
No.
I guess we'll bounce over to the NBA then, because there's a couple things that happened we were going to talk about. Obviously, last night, for whoever watched, got LeBron breaking the scoring title. I mean, it was unfortunately they lost to OKC, but and LeBron went out. I don't know if you got to see it last night or anything. I don't know if his ankle's actually hurt or something, but he went out like in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, complaining
Yeah,
about his.
I didn't see it. I was asleep because that was a West Coast game, so I was sleeping.
Yeah, it didn't end until like 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
The ankle was giving him some problems.
Yeah. What did he need? Like 36 to break it, right? And he scored 38. He just scored 2 over
Yeah,
or
I was
4 over, I guess.
Yeah, I thought for sure he was gonna have like a crazy game to break it. I thought they were gonna let him shoot like 30, 40 times, like Kobe's last game type stuff.
Hmm.
Let him
I
score
know it was
50.
packed. Had a bunch of like celebrities watching the game, but
Yeah,
I saw something about the scoring title. Obviously, LeBron having it now, but it was so obviously I don't know how many three pointers LeBron's made in his career, but I believe he's top 10 all time in three pointers made at this point. I would assume so. And Kareem, on the other hand, made 1 3 in his entire career. So think about how many more points if Kareem actually could shoot the ball. Well, he'd probably have type of thing, or if it's just the fact that people are saying Kareem's is more impressive, I guess, because he's only shooting twos the entire time, whereas
yeah.
LeBron's not doing that.
Either way, I mean, to me, I know I've seen a lot of people talking about that, the 3 pointers and stuff. To me, that doesn't even matter just because the fact, I mean, it's
Yeah,
38,000 points and it's been held for 38 years, so clearly it ain't a record anybody can break with 3 pointers, regardless.
right. Yeah, because even Steph Curry's probably not even going to break by the time he's done. And I don't know what Steph's at points wise, but he's not. I don't think he's even really close.
No. But in other news, too, that we were talking about, the Kyrie trade that happened. I know I talked to you about that a couple of days ago when it happened, but
Hmm.
honestly, it the way this works to me is Kyrie has to not be Mr. Drama.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is because Kyrie Irving, in the past, basically since he's left Cleveland, has kind of just made it. When he was on the Celtics, he was like this. When he was on the Nets, he was like this. He's just tried to make it about him, whether that's on and off the court, and well, more I guess specifically off the court. He has just a lot of drama, and if he brings that to Dallas, like this whole drama, it's gonna like I don't know be a locker room problem. I mean, you have Luka Doncic over there, who is arguably the best player in basketball right now, or actually probably just is, and that could have impact his game potentially somehow. I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, that
He's just because I'm sure Dallas at a certain point, if he's like that, Dallas will probably just get rid of him.
yeah.
And I don't know if anyone would want him on a team because he's going to be that way.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously that's most likely how it'll turn out. But I do, just because I'm such a big fucking Luca fan, and obviously as a Cavs fan, appreciate what Kyrie did in Cleveland. Pretty much won us the finals. Other than, I mean, it was obviously him and LeBron, but that three was the dagger. If if Luca can be like LeBron, which I mean he does play similar. Like obviously he loves to have the ball in his hands and stuff, but if he can be LeBron esque in the sense of having a guy that's also going to try to drop 30 every night, then I could see it working out exactly how, honestly, LeBron and Kyrie did in Cleveland.
Yeah, it could work, but it also depends on is Kyrie Irving just going to have a quitting mentality really early on into his like playing time with the Mavericks because he seems to be that way. He seems to quit on his team very easily and just not care at a certain point.
Yep, and I just hope it doesn't turn out that way because if they can just get along and he'll actually not be a problem and play every night and they work like a LeBron and Kyrie did in Cleveland, then it could be a scary backcourt, honestly.
Yeah, that would definitely it'd be a potential front runner to maybe come out of the West if they work out very well together. Um, I will say the one thing I like about Kyrie though is he doesn't like let people tell him what to do. I mean, when the whole COVID thing was going on, he
Yep.
refused to get vaccinated.
And he
Like
was getting
refused it.
like demonized on
Yeah,
fucking First Take and Undisputed and all the sports shows. It's like, why y'all care so much if he gets fucking vaccinated or not?
right. That's like he can do whatever he wants. Because I think New York, because he's playing in New York at the time, I don't think they were letting him play
No,
because he
that's
wasn't
why he missed so
vaccinated.
many games originally.
Yeah,
He had to miss all the home games and a couple other
right.
places that had strict laws.
The mandates, yeah, or the whatever.
But
Vaccination requirements for being in public.
yeah, but I mean that's all I honestly got for NBA. Obviously, things are still. We talked about NBA really briefly last time too. Standings are still pretty similar. Only thing that's happened is Pelicans keep falling off. I think they might have moved back one
Has
from
there
the
been
last
any
time.
other like major trades? I
I
think
don't.
there has, not major, but there has been other trades, but nothing like ridiculous.
Honestly, if KD stays in Brooklyn too, if as long as they don't get rid of any of the people they got from Dallas, like Dinwiddie's a really good.
He is. He's a good point. He's underrated. He's back in. He actually was on the Nets 2 seasons ago.
And he's consistently good. Like you know what you're gonna get out of him pretty much every night. You're gonna get like 25-5 or 25-3.
Yeah, Dinwiddie. Well, he's putting up this season. He's putting up 18-5 so far. But yeah, he's not bad.
But that depends if KD stays, because I mean it says right here the first thing on NBA
he's
trade.
on the move. Yeah, I saw that.
So I don't think so yet. But
Well,
there's
I've
also a
heard
chance he
rumors.
ends to back up in Golden State,
I was just about to say, yeah, I think that's where I've heard he would go is Golden State.
which would be so ridiculous.
I just don't see why would he want to go. I mean, I guess because he's played there, and Golden State is technically a playoff team right now, although they're at the bottom. And KD going there would put them probably top 3 easy in the West.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you still got
would
their
just-
big three, anyways. I mean, you got Draymond, Clay, and Curry, and then just add Kevin back to it, and you still got, God, why am I blanking on his name right now? That just got the big extension for Golden State this year.
The extension,
Yeah, he got a big extension this year.
not Jordan Poole, is it?
Yeah,
Oh, it is. Okay.
I keep forgetting who all else is on that.
I don't even
Team.
know who their starting center is because I know that they wanted it to be James Wiseman, but he's not. It's Kevon Looney. That's who I thought it was, but I wasn't sure.
And Iguodala's, I think, hurt right now.
Iguodala's like 60. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a good guy to have on your bench, though.
Yeah, he's only averaging 2 points a game this year. But he's never been really. He's been a defensive guy, not really an offensive. He's never been an offensive threat ever. Maybe when he was on the 76ers back like in 2009. But
And you got Andrew Wiggins.
yeah, I forgot he's on that team.
Either way, Durant goes back there. Definitely, unquestionably, contention team for a finals.
Yeah, they'd probably be the favorites, probably.
I mean, they're already, as long as they make the playoffs, that's all they have to do. And there's a threat to go to the finals just with the team they have now.
He should go to the Sacramento Kings.
I would respect that move, honestly, because the
Well, he's
Kings are
gonna be
already
helping a
solid.
team that's
But
like a hurt franchise, yeah. But they wouldn't need him only because of, well, it's their starting lineup, the Kings, because Durant's power forward mostly. I mean, I guess you could maybe make him a small, and I think he plays small forward. I mean, yeah, the Kings' small forward's Harrison Barnes, and obviously Kevin Durant's better than him.
it'll be interesting
That
though, if
actually-
he does move. But I do hope he stays in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I hope so. I
Gives
guess
that franchise some hope.
That's the only thing that I was gonna say. It's just because that franchise is like cursed. It's almost just like whenever they get something good going for them, it just does not work. Like this with they got was it James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Now 2 of those guys are gone,
Yeah.
and then even they traded away their future for a bunch of washed up Celtics players, which is why the Celtics have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown now because of that trade. So the Nets could indirectly have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on their team, but they traded a bunch of their future away for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce back in like 2013 or whatever it was.
Big L.
Yeah, and they didn't even do anything that year.
Well, for me, anyways, it's honestly all I got this week for NBA. Obviously, we got the All Star break coming up, but things will start heating up a lot after that. Same way with college basketball.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on that. I know Purdue lost the other day. Again,
To Indiana, right?
I think so. Although they didn't move up, or they didn't go anywhere in terms of ranking. They're still number one. But yeah, it was Indiana. They lost by 5.
Yeah, college basketball's really start getting to that point, so we'll probably start covering that every week too.
2 mid-major schools got kicked out of the 25, top 25.
Yep. Well, from me, honestly, that's all I got this week. Unless you have anything you want to add in.
No, not really.
All right. Well, that's all we got for this week. I think tomorrow, or at least one day this weekend or something, we're gonna actually get some more TikTok content out because right now we only got the 2 videos up. But if you all did manage to listen this long, go check out the TikTok and we'll have some more shit up on there. Appreciate y'all tuning in and see you next week. Peace.